Hello, this is Ellen again, and I'm making this video on the Silhouette Cameo silhouette for a really nice lady on Facebook that I've become quite friendly with, Liza. She knows who she is. She just got a cameo, and she's like ready to jump in and do things with it. When you first start with any of these electronic cutters, just looking at the box when the box arrives, I'm telling you, it's a little bit daunting. I remember when my cameo came, I got it for my birthday as a gift, and I tell you, I didn't open that cameo until after Christmas. But after Christmas, after everything had settled down, and I decided to dive into the cameo, I'm telling you, I'm electronic cutter crazy at this point. I have a cameo, I have the portable one, the smaller one, and I do have the Cricut Explorer. So I do everything now. I am no expert, and I'm not even going to portray myself as an expert. But when you start with these cutters, you have to kind of start somewhere. So the first thing I did was load the software for it. And I went to the Silhouette store, and I was able to get, with my cameos, some free different free designs. So I loaded them into my library. And let's see right here. Let me show my library real quick. And some of the first things you see on here are stuff that I got free. I remember the bicycle was free for me. So I loaded those things in. I have about 250 some designs. The one thing, today is Tuesday, and one good thing about the Silhouette the design store, you go there on Tuesdays and you can get a free design. And I'm telling you, those free designs are really nice, so you should definitely take advantage of it. They have sales on those designs. Sometimes you can get them for as low as 50 cents, 79 cents. Most of them are like 99 cents, so it's really not that expensive. But another thing that you can do is that you're able to, use your own images that you may have downloaded from the internet and cleaned up and are able to use. So you're going to get started. One of the first things you want to do is just take a look at all these. This is daunting. When you first look at it, you go, what am I looking at here? Am I going to ever learn this? If you've had any type of experience with Adobe Illustrator, then you kind of can understand this environment. But if you're like me and you're not an Illustrator person, the most you've done is Adobe Elements. Some of these things do look a little daunting, but you can figure it out. The first thing to learn right away is the Select tool. Always remember to click on Select, go back to Select after you've clicked on anything in this row here. No matter what you do, always go back and click on Select so you can continue to work in the environment. Took me a while to figure that out. I'm giving you that one for free. But here you have your edit points, and you can draw a line. In the Cricut environment, you have basic shapes as all these are in one place. But here they're sectioned out. So you have your rectangle, you have your rounded rectangle, you have your circle, or ellipse, you have your polygon. This one they call it, I want you to see it because I always forget what it is. Yes, the curved shape. You have your freehand drawing. You have your smooth freehand. You have your arc. You have another polygon, your regular polygon. You have your text shape. You have your eraser. You have your knife. Again, this is your showing your drawing area. This is when you go to your library, it looks like a book, and you have when you click on this Silhouette design store, it'll take you directly into the design store. And this one shows your library, your current library. And now down here you have your different files, so you can go in and out. Okay, right now I have mine set on, the page setting is set to portrait. And you can tell because this is the portrait shape here. And if I were to change it to landscape here, it would open it up. Now, I am in something called Open the Design Page Settings window. And in here, you're able to change your width. I'm now in 8.5 by 11. I can change this if I want. And I can make this bigger or smaller. But I'm going to keep it at 8.5 and 11 so you can see your mat and get an idea of what the mat looks like. As I said, you can change from portrait to landscape when you're the size of the mat. Go back. And here I'm saying I have my 12 by 12 cutting map on the screen, but I can change it to the portrait. So I've just gotten rid of everything at this point. But I'm going to put it back on the Cameo mat so you can kind of see what's going on. Here you can turn on show your print border, which I find very helpful. So I know not to create anything that'll go outside of this line because it won't print. And then I have turned on my cut border, and you see the cut borders in red again. So I don't try to cut something that's going to be outside this red line. But once you're designing, you can turn them off. But before you cut, you should turn these on. It's up to you how you want to use them. Up here is another, let me go to this one first. Here are the same things that you would find in any kind of word processing. You have your new, drawing, your open, your, if you have the print and cut, the open, the pick scan. And if you have, I have this, the studio version that I paid for. You do get a free version when you first start the Cameo. And my pick scan, I don't know now, I have to put, when I went to studio version, I was able to get the pick scan. You may get that now with the new updates. Here is your save. There is a way of saving it to an SD card. It's still here, your printer. You can send right to the silhouette without clicking anything else. You can copy, you can paste, you can cut things, and then you can undo. Know where your undo is, because it can be a savior when you're working in the Silhouette environment. You have pan using the mouse. These are your zoom buttons in and out. Drag over, shake to zoom in. Zoom in and out using the mouse. And fit to window. Here, this is something else that you'll find in any word processing program. Fill with color. Open the fill gradient. Take a look at that. You can choose to use all these different gradients in your shapes when you're creating things. You have a wealth to choose from. Your shadow window. Your sketch options. Your rhinestones, effects, and look what you have to choose from in the effects. Your offset, and your offset is kind of important too, especially when you're cutting out things. There's a woman online, her name is Flix, and she does a lot of different, if you can find her online, she does a lot of different things for anniversaries and parties, kids' parties. And she cuts out things from Disney, Frozen, the Flintstones, and she does offset her shapes so that they can come out with a little border around them, and it makes it easy for when the silhouette's cutting out. Another place down here you have a offset for selective shape. That's down here. You have here your open line color fill window. You can choose from your different line colors. You can use the dropper to approximate any color you have that's not there. You have line styles. This is your text style window. You can choose to put a text on screen, then you can use the text style window to alter it. And you have a lot to choose from. And you notice the text style size is 72 here. You can go up and down as needed. You have your move, where you can actually move things up and down on the mat. Change the distance. And use your X and Y axis. Here you can rotate your item or shape on the screen. You can scale things. And look at, you can scale things as low as 50% to 200%. For instance, tell it to apply. And look, it did move a little. I didn't take it up much, but if you go back, you can see that it did move a little. Now I'm going to undo that and put that back where it went. Okay, so that's why I said I love the undo. The shear window, the align. We just got this in Cricut Explorer to be able to align things on the page. That is like so cool to have. You know, so if you had like two shapes going on here or something. Trying to get the page. Look, and align them center. Cool. That is really cool. I'm sorry, that is really cool. And you have your replicate window. I can tell it to replicate left. Look, I just made 2 of those, and I didn't have to copy them again and paste it again. How neat is that? I just duplicated it to the right times 2. Look. How cool is that? You can mirror. Read and mirror right. Rotate 1 copy. Rotate 2 copies if I had 2 things. Wow. Rotate 3 copies. Rotate 5 copies. You see how it works. Now, I don't want, that was kind of neat on screen, but we're going to get rid of it. Look, all I'm doing is undoing it. Nesting. Modify. In this window, you can do, let me turn this on, I have to select it. And you can detach lines. You can release your compound paths. You'll learn more about that as you progress on with the silhouette, your silhouette learning. But it says here to merge selected shapes into one shape, a part of a shape overlapping another area if you want to release or add your compound path. You can make it compound or release it. And I like that they added in, now you have explanations right on the screen of what you're doing and why it's there. So I really like that. This is your trace window. And what you could do is, let's say, this is actually something that I actually downloaded from the internet. So I want to trace this. Say I want to print out these letters. This is actually my maiden name. And let's say I want to print this out to make a family tree. So what I do is I click on trace area. And now I've traced it. I'm going to go in and I'm going to take off this high pass filter, turn on the low filter, and look, it's going to trace those, and that means that when it's yellow like that, that I can actually cut those out. Now, how do I cut them out? I can now apply trace method to it. I can just trace an outline of it. I can trace just the outer edge of it with an offset and trace the outer edge of it, or I can trace and detach. And I'm going to trace and detach. Look what will happen. Look what I can do. Now, I just made a stencil here. This is now a stencil. Now, I can cut those out again and make another stencil. Okay, let's say, all right, I changed my mind, I don't want to do this. All right, I can go undo, 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 undo. And I'm back to where I started. Okay, here's the page setting window again. We learned that already. Here's the registration marks.